Okay, what's going on, everybody? I hope y'all having a good day. It's Twiz once again, of course. Thank y'all for tuning into this video. Thank you also if you tuned into any of my last videos. I appreciate it a lot. I put on my Instagram story a little poll thing, and I asked if you guys would be interested in me doing like a workflow video. And I did say that I wanted to also focus on my photography on this channel. So I'm only gonna edit one picture from start to finish. Give you guys like a complete little editing workflow video. Before we even start, why don't you go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate all the support and all the love, and let's go ahead and get started, shall we? This is the picture that I'll be editing today, if it ever decides to load. Okay, this is the picture I'll be editing. Obviously nothing has been done to this picture. This is straight out of camera. I shoot with a Sony a6000. You'll see my settings once I open up Camera Raw in Photoshop, but just to show you guys how it looks before, I'm very satisfied with this picture. I liked it a lot. The model's name is Morgan. We found out we know mutual people, but I reached out to her on Instagram because I seen that she had done shoots before, and she was a great model. So Morgan, I appreciate you 100%. Amen. Hallelujah. But let's go ahead and open Photoshop. Might take a little second. It's a crazy picture. All right, so I go to open, and it'll show me my tags, and this is the picture right here. Just gonna go ahead and open that. So Camera Raw is gonna open up. This is Camera Raw. You can see my settings right here. My ISO is at 500. I use a 35 mil. I had it at 2.8 and 1/160th. Oh, that was terrible. But y'all get it. Whatever. Anyway, so first thing I do when I edit my pictures, I always like to straighten it. So you can press C, go over here on the right. This little thing right here is your straightening tool. If you double click that, it'll straighten it automatically. Alright, so it could not straighten this image automatically. That means that it thinks that it's as straight as it can be. But just to be sure, I always press the tool once. Now come here. If you make a line, once it's straight, just let that go. So it is pretty straight. But actually with the crop, I'm gonna move this over a little bit. Try to center her. Alright, I like that. Alright, so the next thing that I would do for this picture is my basic little editing tools over here. Exposure I'm pretty much good with. Let's see. Yeah, I'm pretty much okay with how it was. My highlights is actually not that blown out. I'm pretty good with everything. I can probably bring it down a tad bit just to kind of reveal a little bit more detail in her dress. Obviously, this is a very dramatic, shiny dress. That was the whole point. So it came out really well. But the shadows I'll lift a bit, just a little bit, to like 10. That's good. I'll leave the whites alone. The blacks I'll drag in a little bit. I usually do drag in my blacks a lot. I like to have some contrast. Let's see how it's looking so far. It's looking pretty normal. I don't do too much in Camera Raw, just basic stuff. A white balance I'm good with. Texture. This tool, I think it came out not too long ago, the texture tool. This little texture slider right here. I don't really use it. I've used it before. Doesn't really make that much of a difference to me, but no, I don't really use it. Vibrance I usually take up to somewhere between 10 and 14. Yeah, that's good right there. One thing that I did notice, all my numbers are always even. I hate odd numbers, but like I'll go up one or down one if I have to, just to make it even. Saturation. Let's take it to 4. So I'm liking how that's looking so far. Not too much has changed. It's looking pretty good. So I'll close this. Go down to my color mixer. I always start with my saturation, but one thing that I do want to do right here is the hue. You got a good amount of detail on her skin too. That's good. But the hue. So the reds. Obviously, like I said, I had a blue light on, so you can see like the blue is on her face. That was the purpose. You can see it on the bridge of her nose right here, cheek, and everything. I'll fix as much of that I see fit, but I just wanna let's see. Just to show you guys how dramatic it can be. So if you look over on her cheek, you'll see that it's changing. It's changing the hue of her skin. Obviously, I don't want it to be that way. I'm gonna take it down a little bit, just to kind of get this area to blend a little bit more. And I'll show you guys how I retouch skin, so you can see how I blend the colors in her skin. But she has really nice skin, so it's not too much I have to fix really. Yeah, I'm pretty much good with that. So saturation, let's zoom back out. Now with darker skin, brown skin people and stuff like that, generally red and orange are the colors that appear in skin. So you can see here, if I was to turn the orange saturation all the way down, it would take it away from her skin. The red, if I turn it all the way down, take away that region of her skin. Because of her makeup and the light, there's some purple in there. Definitely a lot of purple, even on her hand, her neck here. Even in the backdrop area, you can see how much it affects it, because the colors, they all work together. But obviously blue is the most dramatic color here, so there's even some magenta in there if you see it. But the red I'll take up a little bit, probably around 12. The orange I'm pretty much good with. We can go like 6 for that. Actually, no, I'll keep it at 4. That's pretty good. Yellow is not too much yellow in this picture. It's some. It's actually really, really faint. Like if you see in this area right here, it took some away. But like I said, it's really not that much yellow. The green I actually take down a bit. If you hear my computer screaming, I'm so sorry. When I open Photoshop and start editing, my computer just goes crazy. But the aqua is pretty good. The blues, I'm actually okay with how they look. I want to saturate it a little bit more, because what you'll notice is when you go to luminance, once you take up the brightness of a color, it looks like it kind of loses its saturation a bit the more you take it up, if you guys can see that. So I am going to lighten it some, so I'm going to take up the saturation to about right here. Don't like all numbers. No. The purples, we can take those up a little bit too. It's going to get that area. All right, let me go to luminance. The red, I'll take down just a smidge. Not too much. Orange. Let's see. Pretty much like how that looks. Somebody's listening to Drake outside. Yeah. I'm pretty much good right here. But the blues, I am going to brighten a bit. And you'll see, I use a technique called dodge and burn when I open the complete Photoshop. Really all that is light, adding light and dark shades to a picture. You'll see. A little vignette action, I'll use a little bit, not too much. I always put it on color priority. Alright, so this is what we're looking like coming out of camera raw. This is the before, this is the after. I'll zoom in so you guys can see her skin. Before, after. So at that point, I'm good. I don't do too much of this other stuff. Split toning. I mostly do split toning for like outside pictures, to be honest. But yeah, I'm pretty much good right here. To sharpen it, I can actually take up. I'll take it up to 60. And the masking, if you hold, what is it, option, and and then press your mask and you'll see how much, that it covers. So I'll take it somewhere in here, basically just the edges of her. The dress is getting affected a lot just because it's like a sequin dress, however you pronounce it. The curve, I usually leave alone. If I do anything to the curve, most of the time it's in Photoshop itself. So from here, press open. And now we're in Photoshop. Okay, so now I'm gonna retouch her skin. Sorry for cracking my knuckles. Now I'm gonna retouch her skin. So what I wanna do is make 2 layers. So I'll press, if you're on a Mac, Command J, and then Command J again. Double click this. I'll name it S for skin, and T for texture. Hold these, press Shift and click, and then Command G to make a group. For this lower, I'm using a technique called frequency separation. So basically all that is separating color and texture so that I can edit the texture of her skin without affecting the color, and edit the color of her skin to kind of get these areas to blend in more. These areas where the colors like are really drastic, I guess you would say, and just, you know, make it look a little more smooth, make the transition between colors look a little more smooth, make her skin look a little more, you know, smooth, whatever you want to say. But she has great skin, like I said, so it's not that much. So we'll go up here to filter, go down to blur and Gaussian blur. I think people pronounce this different ways. Some people say, I've heard one photographer say Gaussian blur or something like that. I just say Gaussian blur. But Gaussian blur, the purpose of this is to obviously blur the picture to the point where you can't see any texture. So for this picture, 8.5 is good. Yeah, I can't see any texture. All we see is color. So that's good. Don't text me, I'm recording. So press OK for that. It's gonna apply it. Then we go to this texture layer right here, and we'll go to image, apply image, and for the layer you want to go to the skin layer. You want to press invert. You can keep your channel RGB. The blending mode, we go to add. So you want your picture to look like this gray, like filter on it almost. The opacity we keep at 100. Keep these unchecked. Offset you keep it 0. When you initially open Photoshop, like it'll be at like 1, so it'll look like that, but you don't want it to. You want it to be at 2. You want it to be gray. Press OK, and then we go over here to the blending mode over here, and we go to linear light. So as of right now, it doesn't look like anything has happened to the picture. So if I turn this group off, this is the original picture right here where it says background. If I have this group layer off, if I turn it back on, you don't see any difference. But if I open the group and I come down, if I turn off the texture layer, it's just a blurred picture. You guys can see that. It's just a blurred picture all the way around. So it's nothing but blur. If I turn it back on, the picture's normal again. If I turn off this skin layer, then you see that it looks like I added way too much, like a sharpening effect or something, whatever you want to call it, and that's not what we want. So I usually start with editing the texture of the skin. So I come here to T, and what we want to do is, what I do is, if you press S on your keyboard, you'll see this tool over here called the clone stamp tool. So you click the clone stamp tool. If you see this little illustration right here, it's copying this region and just adding it here. So what I do for this, I keep my flow at 30%, which is really like how much it shows, kind of how much. I kind of equate it to, if you're using a marker, if you press the marker down really hard and it like kind of bleeds out, that's like the flow. And if you use a gentle stroke, if you're like coloring or painting or something, it'll be a little more light. That way I have a little more control. It won't be too drastic, and I can just add it in as I go. So I also, one thing I didn't mention, I use a tablet, an editing tablet, to edit, of course. because it makes it a lot easier than using like the mouse pad on the laptop. It makes it so much easier. So anyway, let's get going because I'm already at almost 18 minutes. I'm so sorry, guys. But all right, so press S on my keyboard, and I'll make this a little smaller so I don't sample too much of an area. Option, click here, and I probably will speed this part up. Okay, so I'm pretty much good with the texture. Hold on. Kind of see stuff as you back out. It's always a good idea to come out and just look over, just in case you miss some stuff. But anyway, all right, so I'm pretty much good with the texture. I'm satisfied with how that looks. You really won't see a difference from all the way out here, but for the sake of me, yeah, we're looking good. Yeah, looking good. So now I'm gonna go on to the color, and for this, go over here to our brush tool. So it's two different things that I do when it comes to the color of skin and stuff like that. Wait a second, hold on, I see something. Let me fix this real quick. I know, you really can't see it, really can't, but I noticed it, so I gotta, excuse me, fix it. Excuse me, Jesus Christ. Okay, I got it. Yep, I got it. Anyway, so now we're going back to color. So there's two different things that I do. First, I start with my mixer brush tool. So basically what the mixer brush does is exactly what the name says. It mixes colors. So for example, what I'll do is I'll press B. I'll sample this color and I'll drag it into this area. Now, you'll see that mixing colors, you can get carried away, one, and two, if you do get carried away, the result is very drastic and it may not be what you want. So you gotta kind of take your time, and also always come out, press Z, fit screen, kind of look at your before and after and see what you're doing, just to make sure you're going in the right direction, whatever direction it is that you want to go in. So I don't typically keep it too close when I do the color. I like to see as much as I can. So we're going to start over here under her eye right here. And I'll show you the other way that I was talking about, but that comes a little later. So I'm going to press B. Make sure my brush is a good size, but right here is fine. And I'm just gently going to drag up this color. And you may not see it immediately. Kind of takes a trained eye if you don't, if you really don't pay attention, if you really don't know. If you do see it, great. But already we're seeing some change. Obviously she has on makeup with color, and then like I said, that blue light is in her face. So see how that we dragged this color up here. We're just blending it in, trying to make it look nice and neat, smooth transition. And actually what I can do right here is come back over with the texture and just kind of get this part out right here. That's a texture issue. It's looking real nice and smooth. That's what we want, smooth transitions between color, and we don't want to have that much texture. So what you'll see is, obviously I just did this region, but we don't want to take the color away. So what I would do is neatly, if you come here, press, if you right click this, we go to the brush tool, the normal brush tool, and I'll turn my flow down to 2% because this can really get drastic. So I'm going to press option and I'm going to sample this color right here, this purplish color, and make my brush a little bigger. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw in the rest of that color. So it's kind of actually, let's go right here with it. Wait, I want to take that purple out completely. Yeah, okay. Turn it back on. All right. So like I said, gently just fill that color back in a little bit, just to make it look like she still has the makeup there. That's how we looked before. Now this, what you see right here, the difference is, one, this is a catch. This is an area that's catching the light, that blue light that I told you guys about, but also it's shadow, because the structure of your face, your bone structure, is a region that, this region is generally kind of pressed in, if you guys get what I'm saying, and then your cheekbone obviously comes out a little bit. So the light is coming up. It's coming up this way. Let's zoom out. The light is coming in from this direction. If you guys see my mouse, it's coming in this direction. So it's shadow right here, and then the flash that I use is coming in directly on this area right here. It's kind of right in front of her, a little bit over to the right, and I had her slanted, so it's making a shadow right here. And even right here, it's a bit of a shadow, just a little bit from that blue light that we were using. So we just want to blend those in, make that area look nice and smooth like this. And I can actually add a little bit more of that color down here, just a little bit. So that looks good. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. So I'm gonna do the rest of this color region, this color section, layer, whatever. I'm gonna speed it up and we'll see how it goes. Okay. Okay. So, as far as frequency separation goes, I'm very satisfied with this right here. Very satisfied with how we're looking. Now what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna copy this, both layers actually. I'm gonna copy this color layer, and then now I'm gonna do dodge and burn. So if you press O, this tool is the burn tool. So burn is when you add like shadows. It darkens the areas, if you can see on this little illustration here. So it's not much that I'm gonna darken. A lot of times I do the eyebrows just a little bit, just to fill them in a little bit. You guys can see that. Not too much. You don't want to look scary, spooky, nothing like that. And then at the end, I'll turn the opacity down just a little bit, probably. I come around here, kind of add in a little definition here. Just kind of outline her eye a little more. I do this sometimes. I don't do this too often, depending on how much I can see in the eye. Let's see. Yeah, I don't do it too much. Go over to the other eye, do the same thing. Okay. So, really just see the eyebrows, but it's just for my sake that I see it in the eyes. I also go back to O, and if you right click the O, you can actually do Shift O twice, I think it is, and it'll go to dodge. But this tool right here, this is how you add the light, and we're just gonna add a little bit of light on her eyes, just a little bit. And come to this area, do the same thing. Back that out. You guys can see it a bit. If you look at her eyes, don't want it to be too bad. Alright, and then with that dodge tool, actually what I'll do is I'll use actually both the dodge and burn tools, and I'll get in this dress a little bit. You guys will see, and the backdrop a little bit. Her hair I'm pretty much fine with. We can actually lighten this area a little bit, and I'll also do it on her makeup a little bit. We can light these areas a little bit just to give it a little drama. Just get these regions that's really catching the hair. It'll make it look dramatic. It does, in my opinion. And I'll come back with the dodge tool and do the same. The burn tool, and do the same thing. Let's see how that's looking. Back that out. You can slightly see it in her hair. Yeah, that looks cool. Zoom in. But I'm just trying to get all my dodging out the way, so I try to do it all at the same time. Let's see, we'll lighten this area a little bit. Bring her nose some. Get over her eyes some. Lighten this. Underneath. We'll get this little, I forgot what this area is called right here. Let me know what that area is called. We get that. Get right here where the light catches a bit. Oh, that's too much. Let's try that again. Get right here where the light catches. Right here. Lighten this area a little bit. Same for over here. That was too much. We'll try that again. Yep. Looking good. Take this area, lighten a little bit. Light this area a little bit. Come down here and do the same thing. Yes, sir. Oh, I did forget one thing. I'm about to show you. With the lips, I can actually do it on the same layer. So we'll go back to the brush tool, the main brush tool, and just to like fill in the color some. Let's see, let's pick right here. It's really not much of a difference, but I usually do it. And hers is on pretty well. Her lipstick is on pretty well, so you can't really tell. But you know how sometimes you put your lipstick on, ladies, and like you close your mouth, you open it back up again, and it's like this region up in here typically is the makeup smears off. So we just clean that up, get the top lip right up in here. But her makeup was done really well too. She just knew what she was doing. Yeah, you can see it a little bit in her lip. We kind of filled it in some. Let's take this out. Yeah, that's fine right there. Yep. That looks good. So we'll get this highlight on the cheekbone. Get that highlight a little bit, make it pop a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Make it pop. So we get a little bit more. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that looks good. Then I'm just gonna real quick go over some of these areas back here. Really don't make much of a difference, but I like to do it when I have backdrops like this. Just light these areas a bit. Then we'll go to the burn tool one more time. Do the same thing we just did with the dodge tool. We can get it on her dress a bit. These areas. As I edit, it doesn't really look like I do that much. I mean, I can tell what I'm doing, but it never really looks like I'm doing that much until I do like this, a complete before and after. So this is what we started with out of camera raw, and this is where we are right now. So you can see, obviously I lit those areas up a little bit more, trying to make it look a little more dramatic. But now I'm gonna go over with my burn tool, and let's see how that looks. Hold on, let me get this area real quick. Okay, all right, now we can do burn. Alrighty, so we already did the eyes. We already did her eyebrows. Her hair is pretty much fine. I don't really have to go through with the hair. Maybe just these little areas right here. I can do a little more. Let's see. It's not really making much of a difference. Alright, let's move on. Let's get her dress. This area. It just adds a little more dimension, if you get what I'm saying. Adds a little more je ne sais quoi. If you don't know what that means, please Google it. Because my friends, I said to them and they was like, what? And I was like, I thought everybody knew what that meant. But hey, maybe it's just me. Just want to make sure. Editing takes time. I mean, even when you know what you want, you still have to actually do it. You know, you got to make what's in your head come to life. That's what's so cool about photography, though. It's not just taking a picture, you know what I'm saying? It's having a vision, figuring out how to execute that vision, bringing that vision to life, and then, you know, doing whatever adjustments you need to do to make it exactly what you see in your head. For me, photography has definitely been a way that I articulate myself, or, you know, express myself, because growing up I had a hard time doing so verbally. Like, couldn't really express how I felt about stuff. I didn't really know how to explain to people what I was thinking. Really, it was just all in my head. I do an okay job at it, but. So I'm almost done with this dress. Let's get up here. Then I'll move on to the backdrop, and then we'll be done that part. Just one more thing I'll show you guys, and then I'll be done. So if you look at her dress, you can see we added like a little dimension to it. Made it look a little more, like it pops a little bit more. All right, so I'm gonna just get some areas up here. Just darken these areas. A little bit more. Okay. Before, after. I'm liking this a lot. This was the dodge and burn. Let's see one more time. Alright, so last thing I'll do. This picture is, it's clear. But one thing I'll do. There's two ways I can do this. I sharpen the eyes a little bit more. There's two ways I can do this. One, I could just completely flatten my image and then make another copy of it. And I can go up here to filter, go to high pass, and it'll make it look like that sharpening effect that I showed you guys before. But me, I just Command J my texture layer and come over here, make it a mask. There's a mask. Command I to invert it. And then I'll paint the effect, that same effect, onto her eyes to add a little bit more sharpening to it. So I'll turn my flow up to about, let's turn it like 40%, because I want to sharpen all of this. So as you can see, I see a little more, but yeah, we definitely want to get up in here and sharpen those eyes a little bit more, just to give it a little more pop. Get on here too. Yeah, that looks great. All right, so that's what it looks like. All right, we don't want it to be too dramatic, so I'll turn the opacity down a little bit, probably about so. Twist don't like our numbers, so we turned about 70%. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, you can see it. It's like you can see it, but you can't see it. That's how I like it. You see, if you look at her eyes. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. So, one more time. This is before. This is after. Before. After. That's all I'm gonna do with this picture. It's not anything else that I want done to this picture. I love this picture a lot. I love how this shoot came out. I just recorded 55 minutes and 36 seconds and counting of editing, and that just goes to show you how much goes into this. Excuse me, guys. How much goes on during this process. It's not just shoot and send a picture. It's not just shoot and throw a little filter on there. It's technique that got to go into this. And really, this isn't even, it's a lot more that can be done to pictures. I'm just, I'm scratching the surface. I'm still learning. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I appreciate you watching it, especially if you watched all the way into the end, didn't skip through anything like that. I appreciate it. I'm definitely gonna have more videos like this in the future. More exciting stuff is coming. Subscribe to the channel, like I said, if you haven't already. Like this video and go ahead and share it with somebody. Send it to your group message with your friends. I know everybody got one. It's greatly appreciated. So I'm gonna holler at y'all when I smile at y'all.